Do not touch your phone. Right after today's tech update, we're diving into a must-hear call from my weekend Kim Komando show that you can get as a podcast. It's called Kim Komando Today. I'm going to be very blunt. Social media is toxic and addictive to our children. Social media companies exploit kids. Negative effects far outweigh anything good. We know for a fact that kids develop anxiety, depression, harassment, and bullying as a direct result of social media. They see a normalization of improper behavior. They see substance abuse. And I'm just scratching the surface. And whether or not your kids are exposed to it, it's your choice. And here's an option. I'm Kim Komando, brought to you by SimpliSafe. Save 20% on a new SimpliSafe system with a Fast Protect plan at simplysafekim.com. In England, a grassroots movement called Parents for a Smartphone-Free Childhood is helping parents support each other in delaying giving smartphones to their children younger than 16. Instead, they recommend buying young children dumb phones, basic cell phones that make and receive calls and texts, but will not expose the kids to social media evils. It's a great idea. Give it some thought. Get tech smart with my free newsletter at getkim.com. Yes, another brilliant call from my weekend show. You're going to love it. Here it is. Alan in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Well, thank you for taking my call. I've got a problem that I hope you can help me solve. I office in a small office. We have 3 people in the office, and my brother, who's also my coworker, is on his Bluetooth a lot. He's got an iPhone with the Apple earbuds, and I can't tell if he's on the phone until I've interrupted his phone call.
And then he gives you a dirty look.
And he's used to it now. It happens a lot. So I got to looking for some kind of a light that I could buy for his desk that would alert me to when he's on his phone, and I couldn't find such a thing. I see that they're available for hardwired phones,
right,
but I could not find anything for a cell phone, and I'm hoping you can help me find one.
Yeah, see, the problem is that the Bluetooth connection can only be used at that time for his earbuds, right? And so if we want to put something else into the mix, then we have to think outside the box. Now, you're right. They have these fantastic lights. Like, for example, that if you're using Skype or Microsoft Teams or whatever it may be, that when you're on your computer doing a video conference, is that this light will say green to go or red to stop or whatever it may be. As a matter of fact, Ben Bradley is our news director, and let me tell you, Alan, he's like, when he goes camping, honest to gosh, he carries like 56 different tech items, including a projector. I mean,
wow.
So, he went to the Grand Canyon with a screen and a projector. I'm like, okay. So anyway.
You'd think you could have found a wall somewhere to project that on.
Yeah, exactly. But he didn't want to miss the Phoenix Suns game. And I get all that. But anyway, so what he has set up is using Alexa and an Amazon Echo and a red light that when he's on a Zoom call at home or what have you, is that this light lights up. And so we have to think outside the box, outside of the Bluetooth box, so to speak.
Okay.
And there is a way that you could do it using Alexa, if, then, or else. Okay. And this is where you would actually set a command. So when when he may have to hit a button or something, that this light.
Okay.
That this light will actually activate. And so he, and whether or not he wants to hit this light depends upon how much you actually annoy him when he's on the phone. Right. Okay.
Well, or how preoccupied he is. And that if it's not automated, because I thought about, we're in construction, so I thought I'd get him a hard hat with a flag that you could raise. but he takes the calls. He's answering, solving problems, answering questions, and he doesn't probably think to push a button or raise the flag.
Yeah, that's the problem. The other thing that you could do is if this was an option, is that there's a company called VTech. And what they allow you to do is to use your cell phone as a handheld phone. So if you were to think, because a lot of people are like, when I'm at home, I don't want to hold that thing up to my head, or I don't want to use a Bluetooth. Yeah. I want to use like an honest-to-God handset. And so VTech makes a way, it's a great product, where you can have actually two cell phone numbers tied to one handheld phone, like a wireless phone, the old school wireless phone. And also goes to a base station that actually has voicemail, believe it or not, if that was something that you wanted. Wow. But then he'd lose the convenience of having his AirPods.
Earbuds, yeah.
And so at this point, what we can do is figure out how to do this with that Alexa if then or else statements, which I think is going to be possible because it gives you a lot of customization. And other than that, it's going to be holding up a sign, or him just like everybody else does. We just point to our ears and go, yes, here, right here. This is what I've got.
Right.
I've got somebody in my ear. So
he eventually does that.
Well, it absolutely does. So that might be an option to you. So let me do this. Let me give you a link to Ben's solution as far as, hooking all these red lights together. And
that'd be great.
And then, the only thing that Ben has said before is that sometimes one time we were all working from home. We still are, but at that point we were just starting to work from home. And he turned on the red light that's actually in the family room to let everybody in the house know that he was on a Google Meet call. And 6 hours later, his wife knocked on the door and said, "Are you done yet? Because the kids and I are really tired of being quiet all day." Okay.
That's funny.
So you just have to remember to turn that sucker off. Well, so I'll send this out to you. And so for everybody else, if you're listening, and thank you so much for your call today, Alan, do appreciate you getting through, is that I'll post this link over in the Q&A forum over at Komando.com. And what that means is that you don't have to be a Komando community member to actually see the Q&As, but you do have to be a member in order to post. But that Q&A forum is really super busy. And so anytime throughout the show you say, you hear me say, I'm going to post this out inside the Komando community, just know you go to Komando.com/community and hit the Q&A forum. There's a button over on the left-hand side. And once you hit that button, that's where you can see not only the questions that I will pose from which you hear on the show, but also other people that may have questions along the way. Alan, once again, thank you so much for your call. Hey, thanks for lending me your ears. Now, if you have a question just itching for an answer, super easy, just swing by Komando.com and click where it says Email Kim. I promise, I read each and every note you send. And don't miss out on text top stories. Subscribe to my free daily newsletter over at GetKim.com.